2019 iPhone 11, or whatever this new iPhone would be called, has been leaked once again. But this time we've had the biggest leak yet, featuring the full and the final design of this year's iPhone. Also, the iPhone 11R's design has been revealed as well. So there we go, the 3 new iPhones for 2019, everything you need to know. So grab some snacks, and here's how the 2019 iPhones, all of them would look like, and a few more updates that I want to mention on their latest features. Also, before I leave and start the video, something pretty cool. So we've actually teamed up with not Apple, but Google to give away not 1, not 2, but actually 3 Pixel 3a phones. So this is the new phone that I've just launched, and you can basically pick. You can pick a Pixel 3a or a Pixel 3a XL. All you have to do to enter is just follow us on Twitter @ZenOfTech, and then retweet this tweet that I tweeted yesterday with the announcement of the giveaway, and that's pretty much it. I'll be announcing the winners on Tuesday, the 21st of May. So yeah, good luck to everyone, and now let's start the video. Okay, so OnLeaks, who's a very well-known leaker, has given us the first look at the 2019 iPhones earlier this year, in January actually. Now, OnLeaks did say that the 2019 iPhones were in EVT, or engineering validation test, so this design was not finalized, but this is the render that he made in partnership with tech website Digit India, based on the details from his inside sources, and it showed a pretty ugly camera module on the back. And just a few days after that, OnLeaks partnered with another tech website, Compare Raja this time, to showcase another design option that Apple was considering for the 2019 iPhones. And this was that very weird Cyclops-like design. Yes, the one with the camera horizontally and right in the middle. And this one looked horrible. Even though from a design standpoint, having the camera module in the middle perfectly aligned with the center of the phone looks much better. But I think it looked weird just because Apple has never had a camera centered on any of their previous iPhone models. The camera has always been to the left-hand side of the back, never on the right, and never in the middle. Also, having the camera centered means that the Apple logo has some space left above, which makes it look a bit cramped. Okay, so by the end of January, we already had 2 leaked design options for the 2019 iPhones, both of which Apple was indeed considering, but we just didn't know which one Apple would end up using. Okay, so fast forward to March, and known Japanese tech blog Makatakara has posted a report based on the information that he got from Chinese suppliers on how the 2019 iPhones would look like. Apparently, Apple has reached a decision internally, and this was the design that they decided to go for. And surprise, surprise, this design looked very similar to what OnLeaks has posted 2 months earlier. So the camera module was a bit smaller and it didn't look so polished, but the main idea was still there. Okay, so what happened afterwards? Well, shortly after the Makotakara leak, OnLeaks came back and posted this schematic from the assembly line that pretty much matched up perfectly with his January squared off camera module leak. And then tech website WDCC F-Tech posted a similar photo of what looked to be a CAD model of that 2019 iPhone. And then, if you fast forward to April, this image got posted on Weibo China of what looks to be the backplate of that squared off camera module 2019 iPhone. So yeah, everything aligned almost perfectly with that January 2019 OnLeaks leak. And then a few weeks later, at the end of April, OnLeaks partnered with another tech website, Cashcaro this time. I've never heard of this website before, and most of the websites that OnLeaks partner with. So yeah, interesting choices for the websites, but they basically made some even more detailed renders of the 2019 iPhones with some of the updated details that he's had. And this is what we've also based our renders on. This is the final design of the 2019 iPhones. So from the front, they look identical to the iPhone XS and even the iPhone X from 2017. So yeah, unfortunately, the frame or the bezels surrounding the phone seem to be the exact same thickness as on the previous iPhone XS and the iPhone X, which is really, really disappointing. Yeah, we've had some previous reports that the frame was actually getting a bit thinner and that the notch was also getting smaller, but apparently this doesn't seem to be the case. So yeah, if you're using an iPhone X from 2017, you're not really missing out on anything in terms of the design. Okay, so what's changed then? Well, apparently the mute button. So instead of it being that switch that moves left and right, it would now be a switch that moves up and down. So very similar to the lock and mute switch that we had on the previous iPads, the old models back in the day. This is also similar to how the mute switch works on OnePlus phones. So they're the only ones outside of Apple that use such a thing. And honestly, having a mute switch on a smartphone is such an underrated feature. It's awesome to have, and please, every manufacturer should do this because it's awesome. And it's incredibly useful to have. And I do think that this up and down switch is actually easier to use, since even on the volume buttons themselves, you press down to activate them rather than, left and right. So it makes more sense for it to be that way. Your finger would already be pressing in the exact same way for the volume buttons. Aside from this, the frame is identical. The port is still Lightning port, by the way, so no USB Type-C unfortunately, although we've actually had a recent report from Mako Takara claiming that Apple would finally be bundling a fast 18-watt charger inside the box, alongside a USB Type-C to Lightning cable. So the iPhone itself would still have a Lightning port, but the charger itself, that would be USB Type-C to Lightning. And finally, the biggest change would be on the back. So we're now getting a triple lens camera module, a pretty big upgrade from the dual one that we've had on every major iPhone since the iPhone 7 Plus in 2016. This is something that we currently have on phones such as the Galaxy S10 or the Huawei P30 Pro or the Mate 20 Pro. There's also been these recent molds that have been leaked on Weibo that show the iPhone 11 as well as the iPhone 11 Max, both of them having that triple lens camera module. So yeah, the triple lens camera module and this design are definitely happening. But okay, what would this extra lens be used for? Well, we don't really have any confirmation in terms of this. Some reports are saying that it could be used as a 3D depth sensing camera for improving AR, while some other sources are saying that it would be a wide-angle lens, similar to what competitors are using, and realistically, I think that it's going to be a wide-angle lens. Wide-angle lens is extremely useful to have on a smartphone. Interesting enough, LG was actually the one that pioneered this back in the early days of the LG G5. And you can capture so much more with such a lens, and it's an amazing thing to have. Just like on a DSLR where you usually have a telephoto lens and a wide-angle lens with you, you can have the same thing in something that fits right in your pocket. And the Wall Street Journal as well as Bloomberg have both reported that the triple lens camera module is coming to the 2019 iPhones. So yeah, pretty much all sources are reporting the same thing. Okay, now design-wise, it seems like the camera module would be getting some changes as well. So first of all, instead of being that raised bump that looks as if it were completely detached from the phone, the bump on the 2019 iPhones would actually have the smooth transition from the back. So the glass itself would be raised and literally molded so that it can incorporate that camera module itself. However, this would unfortunately come with a fairly noticeable trade-off, and that is the thickness. The iPhone 11 and the iPhone 11 Max, or whatever they would be called, are expected to be quite a bit thicker than the iPhone XS is, measuring in at 8.1mm thick for the iPhone 11 Max and 7.8mm for the iPhone 11. This is, by the way, coming from 7.7mm, which is what we had on both the iPhone XS and the iPhone XS Max. And to be honest, the XS Max for me did feel like quite a thick boy. And it seems like now the black frame surrounding the camera modules, it would actually match the color of your iPhone. So if you have a black one, it would be, black like before. But if you have a white iPhone, it would now be white. It does make the module look smaller this way and the colored back of the phone larger. So I can definitely see why Apple would take this approach, since otherwise the black camera frame would have actually taken most of the color away from the back of the phone. And speaking of colors, the iPhone 11R literally got leaked while I was writing the script for this video. Again, coming from OnLeaks, but this time he partnered with Price Baba and rendered a full model of the 11R, again based on the inside details that he's had from his sources. And we've quickly modeled our own concept based on this, and well, okay, I was not expecting this. Even though the 11R does come with a dual camera module this time, so yes, an upgrade from the single module on the 10R, but still a downgrade from the main 2019 iPhones that come with triple lens camera modules. It seems like Apple would be using the same squared-off camera module from the 2019 iPhones that come with a triple lens camera, just, with just a dual one on the iPhone 10R. So yeah, I cannot believe how ugly this looks. This is horrible. Why not use the same dual module design as we currently have on the iPhone XS and the XS Max? I mean, yes, you do get more area for the color, so to say, to show on the back since you don't have that black camera border anymore, but I still think that this looks really, really bad. So let me know in the comments your thoughts on this. And finally, just another leak that I wanted to cover from Ming-Chi Kuo this time. So he reports that Apple would be using a modified PI material for the 2019 iPhone antennas rather than a liquid crystal polymer like Apple is currently using now. Translation, please. Okay, well, this means that these antennas would not only perform better, but it would also be cheaper to manufacture, and Apple could decrease the price of the iPhones. obviously they won't be doing that. But apparently the 5G antennas in the 2020 iPhones, those would still be made from liquid crystal polymer because of the production constraints. Also, something that's not really related to iPhones, but Ming-Chi Kuo did say in his report that Apple would be releasing a brand new iPad Pro 11-inch and 12.9-inch either at the end of 2019 or at the beginning of 2020. We've had a number of reports that Apple would not be updating the iPad Pros this year, but it seems like this might not be the case anymore. But regardless, the design would remain identical to the current iPad Pros. So this would just be a spec bump. So expect an Apple A13X processor, hopefully even a slightly reinforced chassis to fix all those bandgate issues. But yeah, this was everything that I wanted to talk about in terms of the 2019 iPhones. Don't forget about a Pixel 3a giveaways. There you go, literally these phones. I mean, not these, you would get new ones, obviously. But yeah, give away 3 of these thanks to Google UK. So just be a follower on Twitter, @ZonOfTech, and then retweet this tweet. And yeah, that's it. I'll be announcing the winners on the 21st of May. But yeah, this has been pretty much it. Follow on Instagram @ZonOfTech for more cool content, behind the scenes, whatever. I'm actually going on a trip tomorrow, depending on when you're watching this video, or a few days ago. So yeah, maybe you've seen a few stories. If you haven't, follow on Instagram @ZonOfTech and @ZonOfConcepts for more concepts. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'm Daniel, and I'll see you guys in the next cool video. ZonOfTech, signing out. Cheers.